Good evening, Somers, and welcome to the Somerstown Board Organizational Meeting, Thursday, January 6th, 2022. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to start the meeting here with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we do roll call here, I just want to take a moment of silence for the brave Americans who defended the United States Capitol building on January 6th of last year. Good idea. Thank you. How do you want to roll call?
Councilman William G. Faulkner.
Here.
Councilman Richard G. Clinching.
Present.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirica.
Here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.
Here.
Supervisor Rob Scarano.
Here. All right, thank you. Let me open it up here now to anybody have public comment?
Board organization first, you know.
Well, yeah, but you're gonna defer public comment.
I'm going to defer public comment.
Unless it has to do with the organizational meeting.
Okay, so we just defer the.
It's up to the public.
Okay, since there's no public comment, well. Bailey Park will not be specifically discussed this evening.
But you can in the public comment.
Yeah.
So you got to reorganize, then we have a meeting, that's when.
So you're gonna
all
defer
you.
that comment to the work session.
Right.
Okay, I'll defer.
We're going through our organizational meeting, which shouldn't take too long. It's a lot of basic stuff. And then we'll get into the regular agenda.
And then we'll get right into the regular agenda. So we'll defer the Bailey comment till to our work session.
Perfect.
Nope, not until the work session. We have to go through this first, and then when we go to the work session, then we'll address that comment.
But you're first when we get there.
Yeah. It's a tough line, but you got the lead.
All right, let's start with our procedures for tonight. Set the schedule for the town board meetings. The meeting schedule of the Somers Town Board will begin with the work session on the first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. or earlier if a motion for executive session is anticipated, and the regular meeting will be held on the second Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. or earlier if a motion for executive session is anticipated. Meetings will be held at the Somers Townhouse. Otherwise advised, when necessary, there will be a third meeting held on the third Thursday of each month with a location specified and the notice of the meeting. Special meetings and all other work sessions will be held at the townhouse unless another location is specified in the notice of meeting or resolution calling such special meeting. And further, that notice of all meetings and work sessions are given to the town board, town clerk, and media by the supervisor. Any comments? So moved. Anyone second?
Actually, can we go through the whole,
Yeah, we just
go through
we
like
adopt all the
section?
procedures.
You want to go through all the procedures?
We
and
can go
then
through
at
all,
the
we
end,
have, that's.
A
if that
through
makes
F?
it-
Yep.
Great.
We can adopt all the procedures all
We
at
can,
once.
fine, we'd do that. Great. Adopt town board meeting format for 2022, pledge, roll call, public comment, approval of minutes, report to department heads and town clerk. Businesses of town board first, then parks and recreation, then alphabetical listings by department and or topic, including communications and resolution, board comments, adjournment. Go to C, schedule of audit and claims. All claims are to be audited by the town board on its regular meeting each month. All claims are to be filled with the town clerk no later than the Monday before the town board work session or earlier as directed by the supervisor. Claims for the following may be paid in advance for the audit with appropriate certification and listed on the subsequent abstract of audited vouchers. Example, fuel, oil, mail costs, etc. Department head or employee submitting claim must assign the proper appropriation codes and certify as the correctness of the voucher and that sufficient money exists in the appropriation code. All claims must have the proper supporting documentation, i.e. an original invoice. Only when it can be demonstrated that the original invoice is not available will an email or fax copy be accepted. Submissions for agenda items. D, Items for regular monthly and agendas shall be received in the supervisor's office no later than 12 noon of the Thursday in the week preceding the town board work session at regular meetings. The agenda shall be posted on the town clerk's bulletin board in the townhouse and on the website the Monday before a meeting, with copies available to the public and town clerk. No item shall be added to the agenda during the meeting without a majority of town board members' approval. E, vacancy and amendments. Vacancies on the various boards and advisory committees shall be announced at least 2 months, if possible, prior to the meeting at which action is to be taken. In addition, they will be posted on the website. Designation of the official newspaper. F, designate the Somers Record the official town newspaper for the year of 2022, with others to be used whenever so designated by the town board. Any comments?
Nope.
So moved.
Well,
Any comments?
on Zoom or anything?
Any comments on Zoom? So
Do we need a-
moved. I get a second?
Second, well, I'll make a motion to approve A through F.
Right.
Second.
Second,
Second.
and then you
Third.
all those.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. Financials, let's move to the financials. Designate depositories. JP Morgan Chase, Signature Bank for the town of Somers, New York Cooperative Liquid Asset Security System, NICLAS Investment Fund. So moved.
You want to do the same
We
thing?
just
Want to do the
go-
same thing all the way down?
Yeah,
Just
This goes all the way.
This
to-
goes
Yeah.
all the way down to highway. Okay, we'll
goes
do
all the
that.
way down to end.
Perfect.
all the way to end.
Authorize Robert Scrano supervisor as the signer on the above accounts and Rick Morrissey deputy supervisor as alternate signer, with the exception of the asterisk accounts that are signed by the appropriate department heads only. And those are
The justice and me.
Justice and you as well.
Sorry, I just didn't figure it
No.
out easy.
Certificates of deposit, authorize the supervisor to negotiate the call for bids on certificates of deposit CDs to be automatically renewed at the best available interest rate, subject to acceptable municipal and federal bonds securing each monies, and further that the reporting of CDs be presented to the supervisor of the town board at a regular town board meeting each month. D, deposit of funds, authorize the supervisor to deposit monies to the general fund, highway fund, and all the funds in JP Morgan Chase as deemed appropriate. Town auditors, E, name PFK O'Connor Davies LLP, 500 American Avenue, Suite 301, Harrison, New York, as town auditors for the year of 2022. Reimbursement is F, authorized reimbursement of town officers and employees at the 2022 mileage rate as set by the Internal Revenue Service for the use of their own automobiles when official town business. That rate is 58.5 cents. The standard mileage rate is intended to cover all costs of operating a personal vehicle while conducting town business. Such costs include gasoline, oil, maintenance, repairs, insurance of vehicles, registration fees. Also authorized reimbursement for town officers and employees for necessary telephone calls made in connection with town business upon submission of properly executed vouchers. Jeep,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Did we say, just out of curiosity, did we say the current rate is
58 and a half,
58 and a half?
58 and a half.
Does that change from last year?
Yes.
probably.
Oh, it's up.
56 last year.
Oh, was it? Okay, thank you.
Gee.
G, procurement policies and procedures. The procurement policy and procedure for the purchase of goods or services as set in the town board resolution of January 2nd, 1992, as amended August 11th, 2005, February 9th, 2006, October 12th, 2006, and February 11th, 2010 have been reviewed. That resolution states that each prospective purchase shall be evaluated to determine the applicability of general municipal law, section 103. It also provides guidelines to aid in the required evaluation. As a result of this review, it has been determined that the existing procurement policy and procedures should continue to be utilized for all purchasing activities by the town. H, investment policy. Review the investment policy to comply with the primary objectives listed. A, to conform with all applicable federal, state, and other legal requirements. B, to adequately safeguard principle. C, to provide sufficient liquidity to meet all operating requirements, and D, to obtain a reasonable rate of return. I, review policy for capitalization and property, plant and equipment formerly fixed asset policy to comply with the GASB 34 and other state and federal laws. J, the state and county contracts, purchasing procedures, resolve that all purchases made by departments were practical and cost effective to be made under New York State and Westchester County and Putnam County contracts and according to established procurement policy of the town board. K, set police reimbursement rates. L, set secret reimbursement rates, the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Let's move on to M, authorize the water district superintendent to request proposal for equipment rental rates and local contractors, and upon receipt of the proposed rental rates, adopt the highest rate of the maximum hourly rental rate, and further that the water district superintendent use the contractor with the lowest rate whenever possible for equipment hired and personnel used for water district improvements, repairs, and maintenance operation in the year 2022. Reaffirm NYSLRS standard workday reporting resolution dated January 2nd, 2020 by adopting the following standards for hours constituting a full work day for the state of New York and local retirement systems or any other pension system in which an employee is a member of. Highway and water and sewer maintenance employees, 8 hours, summer recreation employees, 6.5 hours, elected officials, 6 hours, appointed officials, 7 hours, and all other employees, 7 hours. And so moved.
Well, if there's no additional discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve financial items A through N.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's go on to the highway. New York State contracts. Authorize the superintendent of highways where practical and cost effective to purchase items under the New York State and Westchester County contracts and according to the established procurement policy of the town board. B, equipment rental rates. Authorize the superintendent of highways to request proposals for equipment rental rates from local contractors, and upon receipt of the proposed rental rates, adopt the highest rate of the maximum hourly rental rate, and further that the superintendent of highways use the contractor with the lowest rate whenever possible for equipment hired and personnel used for the highway improvements, repair and maintenance operations, and removal of snow and ice during the year 2020. C, spending limits. Authorize the superintendent of highways to expend monies for the purchase of equipment, tools, and implements other than the bid items and hourly equipment rental up to the value of $10,000 without prior approval of the town board. D, agreement to spend highway funds. Approve and execute agreements for the expenditure of the highway monies for the year 2022. Set highway pay scale. And then I'd also like to announce Deputy Superintendent of Highways, Nick DeVito, and announces Paul Westhoff as Deputy Superintendent of Highways. Superintendent of Highways, Nick DeVito also announces Catherine DeSisto as Secretary to the Superintendent of Highways. That concludes that portion there.
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve highway items A through G.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Appointments. Supervisor appointments. Supervisor announces the designation of Rick Morrissey as deputy supervisor to serve at the pleasure of the supervisor. The supervisor announces the appointment of Doris Jane Smith as the town historian. The supervisor appoints Kim DeLucia as the executive assistant to the supervisor. The supervisor's annual report to the comptroller. Resolutions that pursuant to section 29 sub 10A of town law, the supervisor is hereby directed to submit to the town clerk within 120 days after the close of the fiscal year, a copy of the report to the state comptroller required by the section 30 of general municipal law, and the town clerk shall cause notice of the report to be published within 10 days after receipt thereof in the official newspaper. Authorize town officials to attend the Association of Town meetings. Town clerk Patricia Calba announces the appointment of Linda Verderam, as Deb, well, that won't happen again. Sorry, sorry.
You,
Uh,
Linda.
As,
like
Sorry,
Madonna,
Linda.
you just need
Sorry.
one name, Linda.
as deputy town clerk to serve the pleasure of the town clerk. Appointments here, appoint town clerk Patricia Calba, election liaison at 3,000 per annum for term January 15th, 2022 to January 14th, 2023. Appoint deputy town clerk, election liaison at 1,000 per annum for term January 15th, 2022 to January 14th, 2023. Appoint Patricia Calba, registrar of vital statistics for the term January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, to be compensated as revenues occur. F, appoint Linda Verderam, Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics for the term January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022 without compensation. G, tax receiver Michelle McCurney announces the appointment of Christine Rossiter as a deputy tax receiver to serve at the pleasure of the tax receiver. That concludes that.
We did receive a public comment, and while we're doing appointments, I think maybe it's time to read it.
Time to read it.
The public comment we received.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
So I'm just going to read this into the record. This was submitted by Terry Clifford, Teresa Clifford, sorry. It is unprecedented to have a former supervisor act as deputy supervisor. Bill Harding left and Mary Beth Murphy replaced him. Bill was not appointed deputy supervisor. When Mary Beth left, Rick became supervisor. Mary Beth did not become deputy supervisor. Tom Garrity became deputy supervisor with Rick. He has a great deal of experience and should remain deputy. We also have two excellent council members in Richard Clinchy and Anthony Sirico. No need for Mr. Morrissey to be appointed deputy. Again, that was a public comment we received.
Well, I thank her for her comment. And thank you so much.
If there is no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve appointments, items A through G.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Let's go to the board chairman. Appoint John Alfazetti as chairman of Architectural Review Approval Board to the term ending December 31st, 2022. 2, appoint Kevin Westerman as chairman of Parks and Recreation Board to the term ending December 31st, 2022. Number 3, appoint John Curry as chairman of the Planning Board to a term ending December 31st, 2022. And 4, appoint Victor Canestra as chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals to a term ending December 31st, 2022. 5, appoint Richard Arbach as chairman of the Affordable Housing Board to a term ending December 31st, 2022. Fire and Prevention Bureau, 1-year appointment to Thomas J. Tuma Jr., Robert Russell, and Al Vigliotti until December 31st, 2022. That concludes that.
Do the committee chair.
We do the committee chairs as well.
Do those first, please.
I'll do them by themselves.
Do them by themselves.
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve the board chairs, items 1 through 6.
Second.
So moved.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let me just make a comment here, which is that although the board, just for public information, although the board does vote on all these appointments, some are at the discretion. For example, the deputy town clerk, the deputy tax receiver, the deputy supervisor. These are the discretion of people at the head of that department. It is not up to the town board. Some of these others, like board chairman, that is up to the town board. So just to differentiate, so it isn't confused if somebody is watching this.
Thank you.
Yeah, some of them are just announcements.
Their announcements,
Of
right,
appointments.
exactly, their announcements, yes, we're not voting on them.
Let's head on to committee chairs. Okay. Appoint Michael Barnhart as chairman to the Open Space Committee to a term ending December 31st, 2022. Appoint Don Bleasdale as chairman to the Somers Energy Environment Committee to a term ending December 31st, 2022. And appoint Kathy Cucciarella as chairperson to the Partners in Prevention Committee to the term ending December 31st, 2022. That concludes that, committee chairs.
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve committee chairs, items 1 through 3.
Second.
So moved.
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right,
So-
appointment contracts. A, accept the consulting services proposal from Hardesty and Hanover. Hardesty and Hanover has assumed PF Clark and Associates as outlined in the proposal from David Lapping, PTP dated December 23rd, 2021, and authorized supervisor to execute same for the calendar year 2022. Legal counsel. Accept the legal services for 2022 from Stevens, Baroni, Riley, and Lewis LLP from Roland A. Baroni Jr. dated January 1st, 2022, and authorized supervisor to execute same on the calendar year 2022. C, authorized to execute proposal from J.O. O'Connell and Associates dated November 23rd, 2021, as a grant consultants for January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. D, authorized to execute proposal from the Capital Markets Advisors LLC dated December 28th, 2021 as board advisors, bond advisors from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. And E, authorized to execute proposals from RDM Computer Consultants, Inc. dated December 27th, 2021 as computer consultants for January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. Authorized to execute proposals from the ESI Group Employee Assistance Program dated December 1st, 2021 in the amount of $3,200 effective January 1st, 2022, and announce town board liaisons for 2022. Appoint Barbara Lloyd, service officer for the term January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022 to serve without compensation. And that ends that.
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Well, actually, I want to look at
Yep.
the town liaisons for a minute.
Patty, can I ask you a question while he's looking at that?
Sure.
So I'm not quite sure. FP Clark is now that part of it
They
is.
assumed FP Clark,
Yeah, they
So
sold-
Hardesty and Hanover have taken over.
taking over FP Clark.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
But do we
FP
continue-
Clark retired.
is that right? Oh,
FP Clark.
I was just wondering, are the people we deal with, are they going to be the same people or new people? We're not sure yet.
Roland,
We know?
do you know?
It'll still be Michael Galanti on traffic. I don't know who will be assigned to do any extra planning services.
Because the
Okay.
principles aren't the same.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I can't find them.
What do you look for,
Yes.
liaison? Yeah, I got it.
No, I got it. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna just drop off because I've done it for so many years, the Building Department and Zoning Board of Appeals. Somebody else could pick up that spot. Other than that, I'm fine.
Sure, I'll be more than happy to pick that up. And I served on the zoning board of appeals. I'll be love to do that.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So Patty, if you want
Oh,
to
there
just
it
make the
is,
change on that for the building department and zoning board of appeals, I'll take it.
And you're in that too.
They have it.
And we also have,
I think you are.
Oh, that, yeah, zoning.
if you guys need to
So
see that.
I got it.
I got it.
So he's on it.
Yep.
And you're gonna take
Correct.
Tom's place. Okay. Okey-dokey.
Anything else?
All right.
No?
Okay.
If there's
I
no,
mean, it's like I always say,
additional-
we're liaisons to these boards, but obviously, hopefully, we all speak to everybody across all the different boards and all the different departments all the time anyway. So this is just a liaison position.
Should
Correct.
we list these so people know or not necessary?
Those are supervisor appointments. That's up to supervisor.
Sure, I have no,
So if you
It's
want to
on
throw
the
that on the
website.
website.
Yeah, that's what I was.
sure, we'll throw it on the website for people to see who the liaisons are to these committees. And we can do that.
Since we're not changing other than one, most of the departments would already know it.
Yeah, and then whatever,
Department will know.
Yeah,
yeah, the
but not
departments will
people.
know.
Do you want public to know, or you just want to go out to the department?
Well, I think the more people know, the better.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Sure,
what use it is.
Sure, we'll throw it on the website and we'll send it out to the
Yeah.
department.
I don't know if it's
I'll
useful,
make sure
but
the departments know.
Yeah,
Department
whatever.
heads will know, and then
It's not a
and we'll go
secret.
there. They know who to contact. and-
I'm not sure why anybody needs to know, but maybe.
Do we say all in favor?
Just,
Yeah, I-
I'd like to, if there's no
A
additional
motion in a second.
discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve appointments and contracts, items A through H. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
all questions about everything shall be sent to Bill Faulkner.
Let's go on to
Penmanship, so
salaries and
take it less.
longevity payments. A resolution setting salaries and longevity payments were applicable to the town officials and employees of the year commencing January 1st, 2022.
Second.
I'd like to make a motion to accept salaries and longevity payments, item A.
Second.
Second.
Got a second?
Second, Tony, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So this closes out our town board organizational meeting. Motion to adjourn,
Second.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are back here a little before 8 o'clock. Sorry for the delay. We had a little bit of a technical difficulties.
Thank you.
Just gonna get right back into a little bit before. So let's go to the town board. I'd like to give an update for the COVID-19 update as well. This was as of 1/4. The numbers weren't updated today for yesterday. But as of 1/4, there were 918 active cases in Somers, and that was 76 new cases. In Westchester County, there were 18,251 tests were administered, and there were 4,175 positives, and that is a 22.9% positive rate. So I just want to make sure that everybody has those numbers. Let's kind of go here, refer request to purchase 2 parcels from the town of Somers, lots 5.15-2-10 and 5.15-2-11, located to the rear of 9 Magnolia Drive, to the Assessor, Highway Department, Open Space Committee, Parks and Recreation, and the Planning and Engineering Department for evaluation. Request to donate 2 parcels to the town of Somers, lot 5.19-2-24 and 5.19-2-25, located on Myrtle Drive, to the Assessor, Highway Department, Open Space Committee, Parks and Recreation, and the Planning and Engineering Department for evaluation. I'd like to move those.
One thing that this, number 3.
Yep.
I just want to make it a point, if the assessor or somebody could just get us what the current taxes are on those 2 lots that are currently being paid.
Great.
I'll include that in there for.
Thanks.
So I'd like to move 2 and 3 to the consensus agenda.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4, authorize the supervisor to execute the retainer letter dated December 8th, 2021 for Michael Fuller Sirignano, attorney and counselor at law, to serve as special counsel to the planning board during its review and processing of Somers National Golf Club's application. Our attorney, Roland Baroni, has recused himself as our special counsel.
Question on that. I'm just curious, because I know I did miss one executive session. Did we interview this gentleman, or have anybody met him?
He was
No.
he was a Bedford, I believe he's the same one who was a Bedford town judge.
And he was
I think
referred to us by,
Roland, right? Roland, did
No.
you refer?
Because
He
he wasn't
worked-
able.
well, no,
He worked
Go ahead,
for
Roland.
the town in a previous case. When Jerry Riley had testified before the zoning board and we had to disqualify ourselves.
Oh, I
It
remember.
was in
Okay.
a matter before the zoning board. So in this instance, I didn't recommend him, but Rick Morrissey went to him directly. So
Okay.
that's why you have this proposal.
Roland, was he a town justice at some point around here?
No, that was another Serignano in
Oh,
Bedford.
okay.
Michael's practice is in Cross River.
Okay. Thank you, Roland.
Yep.
Somewhere I know.
Anybody, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 5, authorize 2021 out of the title pay for Catherine DeSisto, Secretary to Superintendent of Highways in the amount of $4,000 per December 7th, 2021. Memo from Nicholas DeVito, Superintendent of Highways. Anybody have comments? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
right. D, let's go to Parks and Recreation. Authorize the following per December 28th, 2021 memo from Stephen Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation. A, to adopt fee schedule for the 2022 program and services. B, permission to include camp trip vouchers on a prepaid list. And C, supervisor to execute Northeast Westchester Special Recreation Incorporated intimacy agreement for 2022 program year. I would like to move that to the consensus agenda.
Second.
Fine, second.
All in
You don't-
favor?
you don't have- no, we
You don't have to
just-
do that, just move it.
Just move
it
it.
over
So
this.
move.
Just
Yeah.
move it.
So just, we'll move it. Okay.
And then we'll
Uh,
approve the consensus agenda next week.
Right.
Okay. Financials, there's no additional business. Highway, there is no additional business. Let's go to personnel. There's a few current vacancies here. Affordable Housing Board, 1 2-year term ending on 7/11/2023. Assessment Board of Review, a 1 5-year term ending 9/30/2026. Partners in Prevention, 2 3-year terms ending 12/31/2022. Partners in Prevention, 2 3-year terms ending 12/31/2023. Planning Board, 1 7-year term ending 12/31/2028. Zoning Board of Appeals, 1 5-year term ending 12/31/2023. And Zoning Board of Appeals, 1 5-year term ending 12/31/2026. There's also upcoming vacancy terms expiring in 2022. Parks and Recreation Board, 2 3-year terms ending 3/9/2022.
And we welcome anybody who's interested. I will say that in most instances, we have people who are currently on the boards who are looking to be reappointed. And
Yeah, if he wants.
usually we reappoint the people who've been on the board already. So in some cases we don't. I think we have an opening on, I think one of the openings on the Zoning Board of Appeals is open.
Yep.
So if people are interested, they can certainly put their names in for that. The other ones, I think so far, I think we've had interest from all of the current members that they're interested in being reappointed.
Well, I think the other thing is if someone is interested in any of those, they should contact the supervisor's office, come in for an interview. We talk. I mean, that's the usual procedure. And it may not be this one. It may be another one. You can ask all the questions. We can ask the question to you. Maybe we can say, hey, why don't you try this one, try that one. I mean, it's just getting the process started. So if anybody's interested in any of those boards and a way of helping Somers, being part of it, just send that in and to the supervisor's office and appointment will be made. It's just really usually about 15 minutes or so just to come in, ask your questions. We ask questions and see where the best fit is for you. For those who want to volunteer. There was a supervisor once had I don't know what he used to say about it, something about volunteers.
Yeah.
But
I believe it was something to the point like this town runs on volunteers.
Some words to that effect.
Something that I think all of us started on one of those boards.
Yeah, indeed.
It's a great thing for the town to have input, to have to see what goes on. I think, to Rich's point, if you want to be, to come in for an interview, we'd love to interview you and see where there's a good fit for you. I also like to acknowledge the resignation of Thomas Deegan. He was the Deputy Superintendent of Highways for the Somers Highway Department, and that took place effective on December 31st, 2021. And I would like to thank him for his service to this town. And so his service will be missed.
Tom is a good guy.
Yeah, he did a nice job.
Authorize the appointment of Alan Tepper to the Somers Affordable Housing Board to fill an unexpired 2-year term ending July 23rd, 2023. And authorize the reappointment of Bill Harden to the Somers Zoning Board of Appeals to a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Can I get a
Second on that? You need a second?
for 4 and 5?
Four
For 4 and
I'd make a
5, right?
motion to
Get these on
accept
next week.
personnel items 4 and 5.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Planning and engineering, there is no additional business. Police, no additional business as well. Proposed consensus agenda. 1, accept the following bond per December 1st, 2021 memo from Steve Warfel, Engineering Department. A, $300 erosion control bond, Orphe wetland permit, and stormwater management and erosion and sediment control permit, TM 27.18-1-17. And 2, accept the following subdivision performance bond per December 23rd, 2021 memo from Steve Warfel, Principal Engineering Technician. A, of a $488,648 executed subdivision performance bond, Cobbling Rock Estates Division, number 0152141165.
Good enough.
And that just gets moved.
Do we have any comments?
It's all standard so far.
None here.
Right.
Any announcements?
Yeah, I'd like to make a few announcements. I'd like to also mention to everybody that our town website, people can go to for information, www.somersny.com. There's a lot of great information out there, especially when it pertains to COVID. And there's also a space where you can sign up for the Code Red, where you can get emergency alerts. One special thing that we had on Tuesday, January 4th, New York Blood Center did a blood drive here, and I'm happy to announce that they 47 pints came from that. They do a great job, and we're proud to have them here. And I want to thank them for coming in and providing that service. And just like to say to everybody, be safe and be well. And this closes out our work session. You want to say anything?
Yeah, I want to thank Nick DeVito and the Highway Department. They've been busy the last few days, and they're probably going to be busy tonight at about 3 o'clock in the morning. So, they always do a great job. I know there were some issues, not with them, but maybe with some buses that went out. Everybody got to school safe, luckily, but they're out there doing their thing, and they've done it. And we sort of had a rash of things over the last week or so. So great job as always to those guys.
Indeed.
Oh, do you have fun?
Oh,
I know I threatened no more fun facts.
Oh, no.
but-
No meeting is.
There should never be an end of fun, at least not when you're around.
But Councilman Clinchie, did you want to make an announcement?
Well, mine was a little bit more serious of people passing away, so.
Okay,
okay.
we'll end with those.
Yes, yes.
Bill?
At some point, I'll wish the rest of the town a happy new year, but you go first.
Okay,
See, the
well,
suspense is over.
it was a struggle to find some fun facts for January 6th, although I did say I was ending my fun facts with Supervisor Morrissey. Then I talked to our new supervisor, and I walked into his office on the first day, and he had a fun fact for me. So
Good. The tradition continues. I like this. I like it.
and his fun fact was great. But on this day in history, Teddy Roosevelt died in 1919. In 1941, Franklin Delano Roosevelt gave his 4 freedom speech, and the 4 freedoms were the 4 freedoms were the freedom of speech, expression, worship, and the freedom of fear. It was a universal declaration of human rights, which did not pass until after his passing in 1945.
5.
Thank you. In 1957, this was Elvis Presley's 7th and final appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. And my favorite one of all for today, again, it was a struggle for today. In 1975, it was the debut of the Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, not a white day in the
Wow.
United States.
46 years old, 47.
Wow.
There's my
Wow.
fun facts
Those are-
for January 6th.
All right, All right, Rich, bring us down.
Well,
I could have made
I'll go
yours.
first if that's
Go,
okay,
please,
Rich.
go.
I would like to say that it's an actual fact. My Aunt Annie once had a date with Pat Sajak.
All right.
True story.
True story.
there you
Didn't
go.
work out.
Was it?
I'll take date for one letter and only letter. That's it. All right. Well, I did want to note it though, unfortunately. Past you have two people who've been very instrumental in Somers. We all do our part.
Oh, yes,
As
yes.
supervisor said, every supervisor has said, you know, it's a small town. And the nice thing about it is everybody can take a part in it. You can be a volunteer, you're part of the parades, you're part of the 4th of July. You know, it's a small town in a nice area of the country, close to New York. So many of us, of course, think we have the best of both worlds. And we have neighbors who participate in all sorts of things. Two people who passed away recently, I didn't want to take note of. One is Bill Kehoe, who is the longtime treasurer of the Library Board of Trustees, and he was intimately involved with the library and all facets of it. And we love it. Library is part of the heart of the Somers, just like a library is the heart of a school. And it's in the park. It's a beautiful thing. They put in the park. It was controversial back then in the early 80s when they did it, but I think it was a great decision and everybody has enjoyed it. Bill was instrumental for decades really about it. And he watched that money very carefully. And as people get involved in things a long time, they become more valuable because he had all that history of when things happened and hey, when did that occur? How did that occur? What was the story behind that? And Bill knew all of it. And so I know that the library, people who worked in the library a long time, past and present, Library Board of Trustees, really, lament his loss, but remember him so fondly.
And
Also-
let me just add one thing to that.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't know about Bill is Bill also served as sort of the citizen member of the risk management
Right.
team
yeah.
that I'm on
Right.
with Bob. So he spent many hours helping us when we were working with our insurance guys and looking at all the different reports that we had. And he was really was a great help there, very knowledgeable. He was an accountant.
Yeah.
So it was-
details.
Yeah, he was a great
Good
number
on
guy,
details.
great detail guy. He also served on the master plan committee, the one that went on forever. And he did give so much to the town. So I was remiss in saying that. Thank you for.
Yeah, thanks for adding that. And the other is Richard Benedict, who passed away last
Another one.
month. Now, Richard, at Heritage Hills, they all know him. He was the president of the Heritage Hills Society. This is a memorable character for sure. He was a large man, and his character was larger in life. Sat right here. He was an interim town board member
Yes.
when Harry Bolton left.
When Harry Bolton left, yeah, we appointed him. He said he would come on the board. He had no intention of running, but he would serve until the special election for the following year. So he served.
Yeah, and he was a valuable member.
My favorite board member.
And
Sorry,
he-
guys.
No, that's all right.
Oh man,
Mine too. He was
But
great.
he had
Him
what
and George Dieter.
sense of humor. He had a great sense of humor, and he was on top of it. He just didn't sit there. He really participated, and he was an interesting guy with a great personality. And Tom might remember he had little funny nicknames for people, and so he called somebody called Freddie, and other people he called.
He had
all sorts of names.
He was one of a kind. He was really a breath of fresh air, and it's always great when you have somebody on the board whose only intention was to be there for a specific period of time.
Yeah,
And while he lived in Heritage Hills and he advocated for him, he wasn't just a yes vote. He would look into things. He would come back with with the knowledge that we needed and really work with everything. So he was. I forgot. I saw that in the paper too a while ago, and was sorry I hadn't seen it earlier because he really was a big member of the Lions Club.
he was big.
Yeah, he was a big guy, but heart of gold.
So just a little known information, you know, he recruited me when he was coming to the end of his term and he said, "Hey, Tony, why don't you try to run for this?" And he was one of the guys that said, you know, step up and do it. And, you know, I did. He was larger than life. His wonderful wife, Karen, you know, our hearts go out to both of them. You know, it's definitely a loss. You know, Richard Benedict was larger than life for sure.
He worked at the Pleasantville Cottage School with at least very tough population. Kids were placed there generally by the courts, could be neglect petitions or PINS petitions, but often delinquencies. And he worked with those. He had such an interesting background. The fact that he recruited you would not against him whatsoever.
There you go. He also
John Jay High School, and she was extraordinarily bright person, as was he. So anyway,
That's a great guy.
in memory of Benedict and Bill Kehoe.
yeah.
Excuse me, so since we're announcing the passing of Somers residents, Peggy Van Tassel passed
Yeah.
recently. She did move out of Somers and moved to Golden's Bridge, although she was still very involved in our town, even well after her husband passed away, who was our former supervisor, and he passed while in office.
And not only a supervisor, many people my age
Principal.
will know he was a principal of Primrose High School or Primrose Elementary School, and just an all-around really, really great guy, great supervisor. We do anything for you. So, and she was a delightful woman as well.
You know, I just,
since Richard was on the board for 1 year and he was his favorite. We gotta
That's
find
all right.
the secret
I'll
sauce here.
survive. I'll
Patty,
survive.
your opinion means a lot to
I feel
us.
like I'm getting a call from Bob Stewart tomorrow, but that's all right.
hey, guys, I think also want to mention just a thank you to our police department. It was the day before Christmas Eve when they had to scramble, get those COVID tests from the county. And they turned out to be, I guess, woefully not enough. I think that every other town experienced a similar, you know, situation, but they got those tests up here and distributed. And you have to thank, you know, Chief Linkletter and his team.
Done a
Yeah,
great
good point,
job, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Any other
That's it.
comments?
Yeah, I'd like to thank
So
the new
that's good.
supervisor for a very efficient meeting, and I think this may be done in record time.
Thank you, Bill. This closes out our work session for tonight for Thursday, January 6th, 2022. Get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Next week, we have 2 public hearings.
3, don't we?
3, 1.
You made the motion.
Public
Second.
comment closed.
Tony's got a second.
Is what is it? Bill Keogh's wife, Eva, still around and had worked in the finance department. So this is the one note I just got.
We get a second?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.